if you're in business for yourself or are thinking of starting your own business, you probably want to know how to run a successful business, right? And you might be even wondering what makes a business successful versus all of those businesses that fail within the first few months or years of starting. I started my first business over 10 years ago, so I know a thing or two about failing and thankfully also about succeeding. Before we jump right in, make sure you hit that subscribe button to be notified when I release a new video every week on building your own online business. So while what I'm going to be sharing is applicable to lots of different types of businesses, I'm specifically going to be speaking today about online businesses. Now, if you are running a coaching or consulting type business, I'm going to assume that you've got the right business model going for you because that is essential. If you're not sure that you do, make sure you go ahead and check out my free video on the right business model to use to make sure you maximize your success as quickly as possible in your own online coaching business. With that assumption in place, let's discuss the 4 elements that you absolutely need to make sure that your business is successful. The first element is having the right systems. Now, if you're just starting out in your business, maybe this isn't something you need to worry about today, but this is something that you absolutely should be thinking about as soon as possible because a true business is a system, something that doesn't depend on any one person to continue running. Besides, you didn't start your business so you'd have to work on it 24/7 in order to make sales, right? So what that looks like is removing any one specific person from all of the pieces of your business, identifying what the core pieces are, and we're going to talk about that, and documenting them so that if you or someone on your team were to take a day off or step away from the business would still run without you. Now, this can feel overwhelming, and so what I usually recommend is not necessarily to create a massive organizational chart with all your systems, although you're going to do that at some point. Simply start with listing out the most frequent things that you and your team members do in your business. They can be common customer support questions, they can be things you do like setting up and sending out a newsletter, or maybe posting on one of your social media platforms. This really allows you to knock out the most common ones first, have you get some quick wins with your systems process set up, and then move on to the long-term process of documenting and systematizing everything. In terms of what to use to do that, you can use Google Docs, or what we use in my business is a system called Process Street because it allows you to run the processes as checklists as well, which allows us to eliminate a lot of error in the steps. Now let's talk a little bit about the main categories of systems that you need to have in your business. These also happen to be the other elements that are critical to running a successful business, so it really ties in well as well. Now, I can't take credit for how I'm going to break out the systems for you because I actually was doing this in my business for quite a while, but I didn't realize how they were falling into certain categories until after I read the book Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. So I highly recommend that you check that out the next time you're looking for a good book on really streamlining your business. The second element that we're going to talk about, which is a critical system category that you want to have, is your lead generation. So in other words, how are you attracting clients to you? Now, to take a tangent, a very important tangent from talking about systems, this is something that is critical to the existence and continued success of your business, because without new leads, sooner or later, no matter how loyal your audience is, the people who are going to be ready to buy now are going to have bought. And so if you want to continue making sales, you're going to continue needing to generate new traffic. Now, at this point in my business, we have many sources of traffic because, like I said, it's such a critical element of your business. We run paid advertising through Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, and more. We also have partnerships with our partners who have audiences that are complementary to ours and help promote us. We post articles on great publications that drive their audience to us. And then we also focus on driving traffic through lots of other channels like our LinkedIn, this YouTube channel, Instagram, and more. And not only that, we also have content on the blog to help people find us via organic searches as well. Obviously, though, I've been doing this for a while and I did not start with all of this on day one. So this is how I thought through it. From day one, I kept in mind what I just shared with you, that these were going to be systems as soon as possible. And what I wanted to think about was balancing that fine line between doing what you need to do now or at any point in your business to make it run and grow, and the long-term things that you need to do to systematize and have a true business. And so what I thought about from day one was, all right, I'm going to do a combination of the most powerful organic channels for me first, combined with paid traffic, because that's something where you can just buy traffic and have it consistently come to you. This is going to allow me to both connect with people organically as quickly as possible while generating traffic as consistently as possible, so that I'm starting to build an audience and set that consistent foundation to really drive people to me in my business all the time. And so for me, with my business, that number one social media platform was Facebook groups. And so I went out there every day, I posted in Facebook groups, and that was my manual way of generating leads for my business, and it worked very well. In fact, to this day, I have an awesome Facebook group called Entrepreneurial Leaders. It's free and it's very fun and supportive, so you should definitely come and join us. And aside from that, I ran traffic on Facebook ads. We also tested and continue to test lots of different platforms, but Facebook ads are our number one source of paid traffic. And what I did was I went out there, I bought traffic, I put them into a conversion system, which we'll talk about next, and I drove them through my sales process. Once I had those two in place, I knew I had that consistent foundation of traffic and sales coming in, so that I wouldn't have to be worried in my business about making money or driving leads today in order to keep the lights on, or having to be worried about the feast and famine cycle that so many entrepreneurs go through, right? And so what that allowed me to do was, with that consistent income basis that I'd established, go out there and slowly build up all of my other traffic sources over the years. And that's something that I recommend for the majority of my clients as well, so that you can have one traffic source that provides that consistency first, and then layer your other traffic sources on top of that. If you try and do too many at once, as you know, you get overwhelmed and then burned out, and nothing good comes from that. And so that's how I recommend it. Now, in terms of documenting all of that, that definitely took a while. And it's actually something that we still are working on, because we continue to test new sources of traffic. But it's really about identifying all of the processes and having best practices. So for example, on our social media, on my Instagram posts, right? What are the best practices? Well, here are the branding guidelines. Images need to look a certain way. How do I post them? What hashtags do I use? All of this is in a process document. Same thing for my Facebook ads. Here are our best performing ads, here are the brand guidelines, and here's what we drive them to. Here are different assets, pictures, landing pages, and here's what our spend looks like, what our benchmarks are, and what we need to measure. Same thing for our analytics in terms of measuring where our leads are coming from. Every week, every month, we track, all right, where are our leads coming from? How much have we spent per channel? What is the cost per lead? What is the conversion rate? So that we always have an eye on where our leads are coming from each source, what they are costing us, and how they're converting. And so I just shared out with you the branding guidelines, the process documentation, the best practices to share, plus how to track and make sure that you're keeping an eye on your leads, because it could be that you're spending the majority of your time on a platform that isn't driving the most leads or sales for you. And so you want to make sure that's balanced out. So all of that falls under lead generation. And again, I don't want you to be overwhelmed, because that's something you're going to grow into depending on where you are right now. When you're starting out, start with those two sources, whatever they look like for you, that I shared, that I started with myself. The next element that you have to have is a sales mechanism, something that automatically converts those leads that you're now generating into customers. And you can't just hope and pray for someone to find your sales page and buy from you, right? You have to have a system for doing that. So for us, my favorite way is through automated webinars. And what we do is we drive all of our traffic through our automated webinars, our free masterclasses. You can check it out in the link description below and see exactly what that looks like for yourself. And what that does is it automates our conversion process so that we're making sales every single day without me having to be personally involved. Now, another really important tangent I want to make at this point is to really talk about what it takes to build a profitable conversion mechanism and offer. And what I mean by that is to make sure that you're not trying to create multiple offers at once. One of my flagship courses, Employed Entrepreneur, is something that I've been working on for the past about 4 years. It's gone through 4 massive iterations. We're not talking about just updating a worksheet here or there. We're talking about massive overhauls of all of the content. And the reason for that is because over the years, not only have I been able to improve the way that I teach so that people are able to get better results more and more, because I've learned how people think, what questions come up, what obstacles they need help overcoming, and I'm able to incorporate all of that into my offer. But also because over the years, we've streamlined and really optimized how to sell it as well. And each time you launch a new product, you have to go through that process. And so something I see a lot of new entrepreneurs doing is that they create way too many new products initially. What I highly recommend that you do instead is create one core flagship offer, and then focus all of your time and energy on attracting leads for it, figuring out where to go to attract the leads for it, figuring out how to best convert those leads into happy customers. And doing that usually takes at least a year or 2 per significant offer. And I don't want you to worry though, because that year or 2 could translate into hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in sales for you. Our core Employed Entrepreneur flagship course has generated millions of dollars in sales over the years. And the reason is because we really doubled down on it. We identified what traffic sources to go to, how to create the best conversion system possible, and how to create the best product possible so that people will continue to be happy with the sales. And so this is a very important tangent, because as you can see, the elements to a successful business, I haven't mentioned anywhere create as many products as possible, right? There's a time and place for creating new products, absolutely. But when you're starting out, when you're focusing on scaling to your first million or 2, that's not the time and place for it. That is the time and place when you are focusing on these elements for one amazing offer that you have. So after conversion, what's next? It's delivery, because after you make the sale, you have to deliver on the product that you just sold. And this is something that's taken us quite a bit of time to feel into as well. So at this point in my Employed Entrepreneur course, how we support our students is in quite a few ways. We have monthly group coaching calls with me personally. We've got a really active and supportive student alumni community in a Facebook group. And then I have a support squad of coaches that I have trained over the years to answer other people's questions. So as you can see, what this does is it really allows us to have any one person step away from the business for vacation or whatever and still have us be able to deliver an amazing customer service experience. Now, in terms of really systematizing this, what that is involved is taking the time to identify what the most common questions are, having people be trained to answer those questions. And so what I did over the years was I identified my top employed entrepreneur students, and then I gave them additional training over the years to help make them really amazing coaches. And that, of course, takes time, right? Because they themselves had to go through the process, build their own businesses, and be qualified to talk about all of these things. You can't just plop someone in and just teach them to answer questions if they don't have the background and the experience to be able to do it, and really support them and train them. Then we documented all of the most common questions, how to answer them, best practices, guidelines for when a question needs to be answered, how to welcome people into the community, and how to really make sure that people are coming in and getting what they need without just having to have me answer all the questions or any one person answer all of the questions and be responsible for all of that, because that's just crazy when you're working with hundreds or thousands of students, right? And so that's what the delivery process looks like. This is something that way too many new coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs don't focus enough on or think about when they're starting out how to scale and systematize that delivery process. But here's the thing. When you're in a service-based business, you have to lead with that support, that delivery. You can't grow the front of your business, the leads and the conversions and the sales, and then think, okay, I'll figure out how to catch up in my delivery once I've made more sales. Because this is not one of those businesses where you can just sell a product and then say, hey, hold on, we're backed up with inventory and we'll get it to you sooner or later. This is something where as soon as someone buys, they're going to expect that service. And if it's not good, you're not going to continue making sales, right? And so that's why this piece is so important to be thinking about from day one. Now, the final element, which again, a lot of newer coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs don't think about, is the money collection. Because you are doing an awesome job attracting leads, you are making sales, you are delivering the best service and product possible, you need to get paid for it. Right? And so what you really have to think through is you have to realize, yeah, you're going to set up an automated order process. Well, if you don't have that, you need to set that up first, where even if you're doing coaching right now, you have an automated invoice that goes out for your payment plans. You don't have to manually send them every month. It automatically charges your clients. You're not waiting for them to pay you every month. First, let's get that out of the way. The two of the most common systems I recommend are PayPal if you are just starting out, PayPal for Business, or Stripe if you are ready to go out there and start scaling, which allows you to input a credit card and automatically create monthly payment plans. So those are the two I recommend just to get you started. You can start right away. You don't have to do massive setup or anything like that. After that, though, once you have that taken care of, you still have to realize there are going to be people who need help updating their credit cards or billing information, or people who maybe default on their payments, and so you have to go and collect those payments, right? This is all just part of being in business. It's not about being desperate or mean or bad. It's just, hey, you're delivering an awesome product and you need to be paid for it. So what that looks like for us is we have systems that automatically send out emails when someone's monthly payment doesn't go through. They'll get a few emails. We have a process where they get an email. If after a certain number of days they still haven't updated their billing information, then they're going to get a call from someone on our team. And if after that they're going to get another call, if after that, after we've given them many, many chances, ultimately we send them to collections because we take our delivery very seriously of our products and we expect our customers to honor that as well. And that's something I'm very firm in, where you have to walk that fine line between offering the best service and taking care of your clients, but also taking care of you and your business too. This is something I don't see any really business coaches talking enough about. And so I've got your back, I'm sharing it with you. And so that's what that looks like, making sure that you've got a way to automatically take yourself out of collecting the payments every single month, and then if someone defaults, having that documented process for this is how we're going to collect that money back. And if you don't collect it back, then they're going to get kicked out of the program, they're going to get sent to collections, whatever it is that feels good to you and that you need to be doing in your business. So that this way, with these elements in place, you've got a true business going on. You've got the systems that are making sure it's running smoothly without you or anyone on your team having to be involved. So that honestly, if something happens with you or a team member, you can feel good about releasing them if you need to. I'm not saying we want that to happen, but it does happen. And you're not dependent on any one person. No one's holding you or your business hostage. And once you've got those systems, and again, it takes time to create them. So don't worry about having to create them from day one, right? It takes time. Identify the most common 5 or 10, get those done, and then move into the longer term process of identifying which processes fit into the categories that I just outlined and getting those systematized and documented. And aside from that, really making sure that you've got the leads coming in, the sales process down, so that you're just not hoping and waiting for someone to click on a sales email or randomly find your sales page, right? And then making sure that as you scale your business and get more leads and get more sales, you're also able to support the higher number of customers so that you're creating an amazing experience for everyone and you have more and more happy customers who go out there and spread the word more and more about you. And then making sure finally that you've got the process in place to get paid for all the amazing work that you're doing as well. That's what it takes to run a successful business. It's taken me many, many, many years and lots of mistakes and a lot of lost time and money to identify these. So hopefully this is going to save you a lot of wasted time and effort as well. Now, if you are curious at this point what my behind the scenes of running this business looks like, I've got a fun video for you on my daily morning routine that I use to be able to stay grounded and stay focused and overcome all my obstacles and really keep on hitting my goals year after year. If you want to check out that video, go ahead and click on it in the link description below because that's where it is. Also, if you want to know how to build that system that I talked about where you've got a business that takes you from employee to entrepreneur and is walking you through each of the aspects that I just went over so that you're able to consistently generate 5,000, 10,000, and more every month, make sure you check out the free masterclass that I've got for you. It's also in the link description below. And it's honestly the exact same system that I used to build my first online business back a few years ago and make over 6 figures and replace my salary in 4 months. So definitely check it out because it's a very powerful training. Finally, if you liked this video, please let me know by liking it below and let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was. We covered a lot of really great and intense details, and so I definitely want to hear from you. Of course, if you have any other questions about anything I went over and you want additional clarification, let me know. I will answer, and if it needs even more elaboration, I am happy to do my next training video on it for you because if you're wondering it, I'm sure someone else is as well. If you haven't yet, make sure you click that subscribe button to get notified every week when I release a new awesome video just like this one on building your own online business. And my last ask of you is please, if you have any friends who are also thinking of or are building their own businesses, please share it with them. Your friends are going to thank you. That's it for today, so I will see you next time.